Hey guys, welcome to our members only podcast. So today we are going to answer a couple of questions that only you guys are going to get the answers to. We've had quite a lot of questions in from the public, which has been really cool, and I've picked a couple of them for you guys for today. So one of the questions that we want to answer is about protein powder.
Yes.
So someone has asked, do I need protein powder? Or is that just for proper athletes? I go to the gym 3 times a week and lift weights, and I'm a 25-year-old guy.
Okay, good question. The answer is you really only need to take protein powder if you enjoy it, but you don't need to if you're hitting your protein target. Okay, it's an optional. If you're struggling and you need to get a little bit more protein in, yeah, go for it, but it's definitely not a necessity.
Yeah. I definitely have been one of these coaches who who over the years have been like, nope, it's not good enough, it's not a real food, don't do that, eat your protein, don't drink your protein. And I had reasons for that. I've softened a lot over the years, because the reality is that I very rarely meet people who eat enough protein, especially from the outset. Quite often people think they're eating enough and they're actually not. So what this guy's not said is how big he is. He's not said what height he is, or what weight he is, or how much he trains. He says, I go to the gym 3 times a week and lift weights, but there's no context to that. So what we can't do is be prescriptive about how much protein.
Yeah, and how much he needs to have. Yeah.
But what we can say is that protein powder is okay.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Would be better to eat food. It would fill you up more.
Yeah, it's more nutrient dense.
As well. So you could eat a pack of chicken instead of eating a protein shake. And I know some people hate protein shakes though.
Yeah.
So I would much rather eat my protein.
Yeah.
The protein shake for me is a last resort.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Have you done that clear protein stuff? Have you tried that?
Yeah, do you know I did? I still didn't like it. It's the aftertaste of the...
Okay. So I'm kind of, I like weird things. Apparently. I really like protein powder, and I realise what I'm saying because I have to use vegan protein powder because I'm allergic to dairy, and whey protein powder is much nicer, but weirdly I still quite like vegan. I think I just put myself through like rituals of forcing myself to like things I shouldn't like.
Yeah. Raw carrot protein shake.
As I was speaking there, I just realised, like, what kind of person are you and what are you trying to do?
Oh.
But the long and the short of that is, like, protein powder's okay.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. A lot of people, so you're better to get the volume of protein.
Yeah.
You're better to get the quantity than worry whether or not than not get it because you don't want to have a protein powder.
Yes. You're better to have that extra protein, absolutely.
So definitely more nutrients from meat, but protein. Also, maybe like on that note, like if you're vegan, so zero problem with that. Like that's not a conversation that I'm like for or against.
Yes.
It's personal, cool. You do you, boo. But you might find that protein powder is like almost an essential addition just to get the quantity of your protein up. Yeah.
When you're vegan, so hard.
Like I do know some vegans that do it really well, and they've got into the routine of it and the habit of making sure they know what foods to have.
Yeah.
But
it's a considerable effort when you're vegan to eat all of your protein.
Yeah, they do great. I know I'd find that hard. Yeah. So yes, protein powder, no problem. You do not have to be a proper athlete to drink protein powder.
Maybe it makes you one.
Maybe it makes you one. Maybe it does. Maybe I'll go to the gym 5 times a week now. So I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think that's probably quite a common question for people. So let me see. Let's go with. Okay, this is probably quite a big question, but I get versions of this question quite often. So, I've heard you guys talking about eating non-processed foods, and I've been trying to do it. Great, well done, cool. But I've been finding it really hard.
Yeah, understandable.
What does a non-processed day look like? Please help me. I'm trying really hard, but I'm struggling.
Aw,
That's common, right?
Yeah.
You know, so we talk about real unprocessed food, and that's easy for us to say. So what do they say? What does a non-processed day look like?
Yeah. Well, what is unprocessed food? It's food that comes as it is. It's grown that way. It's produced that way. Fruits and vegetables, straight from the ground. Crisps don't count. They're potatoes. They don't count though. What does a full day look like? So, will I talk about meals here?
Yeah, okay, so what could somebody have that was like a non-processed breakfast?
Okay, so instead of cereal, you could have yogurt, slightly processed, dairy, not overly processed, loads of fruit, bananas, strawberries, blueberries. You can have your high protein yogurts. You could
Good old bacon and eggs.
That sounds like, do the words out of my mouth.
I could feel it.
Yes, so bacon
Asparagus.
slightly, yes, add that and add your vegetables. I think the processed usually comes from the carb source where people are having things like bread or cereal. Porridge, how do we feel about porridge?
Oats, I'm good with oats. Oats are pretty non-processed.
Yeah, porridge is a great one.
Like I think oats get lumped in with pasta, you know, and like, because I guess it's because it's like quantity and beige, I don't know.
Beige.
But it does, so it gets lumped into that same thing, a bit like rice does,
Yes.
but rice is pretty unprocessed.
Yeah,
you know,
rice
so.
just comes. Yeah, rice. So that's another one. Instead of pasta, you can eat rice.
So breakfast actually turned out to be really easy. Like, I don't do it just now because I don't have so much time in the morning. But I went through a long phase where I just took a big frying pan. I actually fried things in water.
Oh.
I've been all kinds of levels of geek in my life. But some spray oil or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or if you're using cooking oil, just count it.
Yeah.
You just track it. Because like fried doesn't need to mean like deep fried in like 3 inches of oil.
Not.
Like
Frying pan is
so
on.
when I say that I would have a fried breakfast, people will be like,
You can.
things maybe to watch out for that I think as soon as I say like, why not have a fried breakfast? And people are like, yes, sausages. I'm like, processed.
Yeah, that. You can have a fried breakfast. Just tweak it.
Yeah.
Tweak it.
So like you can have your bacon, you can have your eggs, asparagus. So this is basically what I used to have. Tomatoes. The only way I like tomatoes actually.
Is it fried?
Yeah, fried tomatoes. That's the only one that. Yeah, or I suppose you could grill them. You could grill the breakfast, I guess. You do a weird thing where you're actually now that I'm just thinking about that. You do the.
I put it all in the oven.
Oven tray breakfast.
If you've not tried eggs in the oven, try it because it's the most efficient way to make
She
eggs.
did this for me one day.
I was shaking it.
I was pretty. Yeah, I was like.
No,
Wow.
they cook perfectly.
Yeah.
'Cause I think when you fry an egg, the top of it can stay jelly a bit. So we're not
Yeah, I was a convert. I was a convert. That was good.
You could do potato hash, and you
Oh,
can
yeah,
mash
yeah.
it up if you want to make a hash brown.
Oh, that was something I used to. All these things I used to do. I've obviously got really lazy. Sweet potato. Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank me later. You do have to record this because this can be quite calorie dense, right?
Okay.
But nothing wrong with a big breakfast in the
No,
morning.
it's not.
Okay, so the night before, I would grate sweet potato into the pan.
Okay. Effort.
Yeah, right. Grate it into the pan. I would break up asparagus and put that in as well. And then, so that would be ready. That would be in the pan. Maybe sometimes kale or whatever other veg I wanted to put in there. The sweet potato and asparagus was pretty set though.
Yeah.
And then, that's making me hungry. And then in the morning, I would just take that pan. So I would just put the pan in the fridge, or I'd put the stuff in a bowl. In the morning, I would just put that straight on the hob, and I'd cook the sweet potato up until it started to caramelise a little bit. The asparagus is cooking, and then I would crack the eggs into it. And I would either crack the eggs in so that they kind of fried, like I would make a wee dent and fry them in there, or I would just mix it all in together.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
What
You
is
could
that?
put
There's a
bacon
name?
pieces or whatever in it as well.
That reminds me of something. I can't remember the name,
Yeah.
but that sounds good.
It was
Yes,
amazing.
you can get really creative. I think
Yeah.
people forget you can eat potato for breakfast. ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, that's a breakfast food.
I am going to put a warning on that sweet potato thing. I learned quite quickly that the sweet potato was nicer cooked in more oil.
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah. Maybe that was why I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when you realise that you've got a bit carried away with something, it's worth actually just
Dial it
put the
back.
brakes on.
Yeah.
Put the brakes
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
Because that little bit of oil goes.
Yeah. No, it's good. But it's
Yeah.
a great unprocessed breakfast. And it's tasty as well.
We got a bit carried away with breakfast there. That was exciting. Frittatas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, or those little we need to put some of these onto the website actually. Those like when you do like a little muffin case and do like an egg and
Put like bacon into
yeah,
it.
or line it with bacon and crack an egg into it.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Lots of breakfast
absolutely.
ideas here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in lunch. So I think when I think of lunch, I think of like bread and sandwiches for people. What could you have instead of bread?
So chicken salad, right?
That you could just take the bread out
Like,
altogether.
it doesn't always have to be super exciting.
Mm-mm.
Like I get it. People always want to tag healthy diets as boring because it gives them an out.
Yeah.
Because it gives
Why
them
they're
a,
not
like,
doing it.
why does your food always? I am going to go out on a limb here and say your food isn't that exciting at the moment. Like.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the most common things. This one makes me laugh, and I'm so sorry if this is you. You. I ask people what their food like, and they're like, yeah, it's not too bad. And then I'll go like, so what do you have for your breakfast? And they're like, Weetabix. And I'll be like, okay, right, we'll start there then.
Oh,
and then they're
goodness.
saying to me like chicken salad's boring, and I'm like, you literally used to have Weetabix for your breakfast.
You had super noodles for lunch.
So I don't think people use chicken salad as it's boring. I think they use it as an out.
Out for doing it.
You know, because also your palate does change.
Absolutely.
You know, so the less sugar you have, the less processed stuff. Just remember that processed food is created to be highly palatable,
Yeah.
so that you spend your hard-earned money on it, and you keep
Addictive.
coming back for more.
Yeah.
So as you move away from that processed food and you start eating more like fresh fruits and
Yeah,
vegetables,
absolutely.
yeah, it
You're
changes,
so
doesn't
right.
it?
I get excited when I've got enough calories left over to have a bowl of porridge. That I'm shaking at the thought of it. That's dessert for me now.
Oh, here's one. I don't know if you've ever tried this one before. Have you ever had rice flakes?
No, I have not.
Did I talk to you
You
about
did.
this?
No, you told me
rice
about
flakes.
this.
So you'll find them usually in the free from section in the
Okay.
supermarket, and I don't really know how to describe them other than they're rice flakes. So I think they're probably like crushed rice. That's what they look a bit like. They look like rice that's just been like mashed, and it comes out a bit like rice pudding.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dessert.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, and I like so some nights, just when you said about the oatmeal, some nights if I go in and I've still got some carbs to have, which does happen to me quite a lot because I eat so much fruit and veg.
Yeah.
That's what I'll have.
Yeah.
It's like the pudding.
Delightful. And that.
Are you evening
Start getting excited.
Rice
No,
flakes, you heard
yes,
it
your
here.
palate does change. You're so
Yeah.
right, actually. And it's nice. The way you're feeling when you first start eating fruit and veg, and it might feel maybe like a chore and it's a bit of hard work. That won't be like that forever.
Yeah.
You know, the longer you do, the more you'll get into it, the swing of
Yeah.
things, and you'll start to crave that food.
I think most people who have done it a bit have experienced that on some level. I've had this conversation often with people, and even people that have been like processed food addicts will
Yes.
come back to me and say, I didn't realise that, you know, a sugar snap pea
Yeah.
was so nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So true.
So there's snacks as well,
yeah.
right? So snacks, so we kind of talked breakfast and lunch there. I'll tell you another nice lunch that I always liked. I am so lazy right now because these are all things I used to do.
I just had super noodles now.
The funniest thing is sitting just out of shot here is all this food that I brought with me today.
I look
and it's-
really good.
There's a huge tub of chopped carrot, mange to sugar snap peas, and another tub with strawberries and blueberries, and then another tub with chopped chicken. And then I've got some, what do you call that, guacamole as well. Yeah.
Lovely.
So there you go, there's a bunch of things there as well as snacks. But so what, breakfast, lunch, roasted veg, that's what I was going to say for lunch. This was something I picked up in New Zealand. You would go into the cafes and they would have little plastic tubs of roasted veg in balsamic vinegar. and you could buy them in the
Yeah.
cafes.
That's such a good meal prep as well.
Yeah.
You know, you can roast a bunch of veg at the start of the week and you've got 3 or 4 days sitting there. Absolutely. And that's comes into kind of dinner vibes as well.
Mhm.
Then last night I had steak. I made like oven chips and roasted carrots, and I fried steak with onion.
Speak my language,
It
Beth.
it was one of the best meals I've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever, and that's an unprocessed
Yeah,
dinner.
completely. So I think that's that very old-fashioned meat, potato,
Yeah.
veg.
Delicious. Some of my
Yeah.
favourite dinners are dinners like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so disheartening that we've lost that in like 2 or 3 generations. Like my grandparents would have just been eating meat, potato, and veg, you know, and just in that since the sort of I don't know 70s maybe, since the onslaught perhaps even of processed food and convenience food, it's just people. Well, that's basically what the question is people don't even know what a
What to-
non-processed
yeah.
diet looks like.
Absolutely, and if it's not comes out of frozen packing into the oven, people don't know what to do with it and how
Yeah.
to cook and the thing is as well, like my dinner last night tastes way effing better than the chicken nuggets.
You can swear.
And
Sorry if she swears, but I'm allowing it.
the chicken nuggets and the like oven chips, and you call that beige dinners,
Yeah.
and like fish fingers.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste good. See,
No.
it doesn't.
I wouldn't eat it.
No.
You know that, right?
Yeah,
I
do
would
know that.
literally rather go hungry.
Mhm.
To me, that's not food.
Mm-mm.
Like it doesn't even. Like, see if I opened the fridge. I guess they would be in the freezer.
Yeah.
Whatever. Say I opened the cupboard. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever thing I'm opening.
Gosh, now you really don't eat this stuff, eh? What section of the supermarket do you get them in?
Oh no, that's so. Oh wow, yeah. Okay, so I think that stuff skipped in the freezer.
Freezer.
So, say I opened the freezer and all I had in it was, I don't know how they'd have got there, but all I had in it was like dinosaur shaped nuggets.
So, yeah, spring rolls.
I want them
and-
to be a thing.
Yeah.
Are they a thing? Dinosaur shaped?
They are,
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought they were a potato. Are they a potato thing? Why do I think that?
I mean, chicken nut, you can probably get like little potato,
Yeah.
like kind of hash brownie type things.
I mean, I can see the appeal to eating something that's the shape of a dinosaur, but I literally, I would open the fridge, freezer, whatever, and if all I saw was like, you know, a bag of frozen sausage rolls, a bag of frozen fish fingers, a bag of some sort of chicken thing, like, I would literally just shut the freezer again, and like, I honestly would look and go, there's nothing in here that I can eat.
And you just, it don't even feel the same. It doesn't fill you up the same. And I'm like, there will be the occasional few times a year I do eat something like that, and after I'm done, I'm like, that wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
I wasted so many calories on eating something that was just a bit bland, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, tasteless.
So I think that's a fantastic question, and
Mhm.
it's like something that's really trying,
Yeah.
and like I get the confusion, but I am going to add in a little caveat here, and this is probably going to be from an unexpected source, being me.
Okay.
I'm going to say it doesn't need to be 100% unprocessed.
It doesn't.
Like, I think I've done it. I've done it a lot. I gravitate towards unprocessed foods. I actually almost have to force myself to eat the processed things. Why bother, right? Okay, good question. Why bother? Because that's the world we live in, and I live in the real world, and I don't want to be so obsessed, maybe,
Yes.
like about like there is this like, how sensitive are we? Like, is it going to land me in hospital if I eat 2 slices of bread?
That.
Like, if that is truly like a tiny proportion of my daily diet,
Yes.
you know, let's be real. Okay, so what is optimal health? Like, optimal health probably is eating like completely organic, knowing where your meat and your veg comes from, never eating any processed food at all. But also, we live in a world where that's not readily available and it's expensive.
Yeah.
And I just don't want people to be so obsessed and so scared of their food that they're scared to eat a slice of bread.
Yeah.
I've been there, you know?
Totally.
And there's room for that. It's just, I think the moderation thing becomes very confusing for people.
Yes, it's very out of. People don't understand what actual moderation is
Yeah.
anymore.
Like, what is a small amount of, like, so I shocked somebody once by telling them that pasta was a side dish.
Yes, yes.
It's like a tablespoon of pasta.
It's not meant to be a whole meal.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely.
You know, and like folk are like, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. All I eat is pasta and sauce.
Yeah. It was a small bowl though. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think anyone that's trying and aware that they're struggling, I think they're doing really well already, and I know that just from that language, like, because they're putting their focus there, they're putting their effort there. But I do understand how confusing it is, and I'd be really interested if any of our members wanted to discuss that a wee bit further about maybe some of the things that they struggle with.
Yes.
You know, does that bring up some stuff for them where they're like, okay, I get what you're saying, but you know, if there's a but there for them.
Yeah, or a bigger conversation about what moderation is and what that looks like.
See, once you're very used to eating like unprocessed food, like I said, like, you know, I'd open the freezer and I don't see any food there. But 99% of people are going to open the freezer and go, oh yes, fish fingers.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
I get that.
And it's that change of habits and how you view food and
actually and see if you go from like the person asking this question, know that it doesn't happen overnight. Like when you enter that kind of like fitness realm and that eating better, it happens gradually. You know, it happens a meal at a time. Snacks slowly start to shift. You start to pick up protein shakes instead of chocolate bars, and it takes a long time before it's fully ingrained into you, where you don't even consider pasta a meal anymore. So don't be too harsh on yourself as well.
I think you brought up a really, really good point there, because like you're like, you know, before you eat for protein shakes instead of like sweets or whatever, and then people are going, I'm allowed protein shakes? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like that confusion, it takes such a long time to filter out the confusion and be so sure about your choices that you know that you're making the right choices. So hopefully we're helping with that. But yeah, definitely if you've got any questions off the back of that,
100%.
Fire away. And we'll be doing more of these member only questions. So if you've got any questions,
yes, let us know.
Yeah, we would love to answer your questions directly. So we'll leave that at that for today.
Yes.
And we'll be back with some more questions to be answered just very shortly.
Yes.